Have you ever wanted to take a dream vacation to San Juan, Puerto Rico and want to know the things that you don't do when you're in San Juan? My name is Andrew Lindsay and I have a goal of traveling the world and helping other travelers do the same while living a healthier and happier lifestyle. And today I want to share with you the don'ts of San Juan, Puerto Rico. A couple months ago, I went on a dream vacation to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and there are definitely some don'ts that you should be aware of whenever you go to San Juan. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button as I put out a new video like this every single week, and hit that notifications bell so that way you never miss a video. Now let's jump right into the first don't of San Juan. Number one, do not forget sunscreen. So San Juan is hot pretty much all year round. I mean, during the winter it is comfortable, but the sun is still out and it will still beat down on you and cook you if you do not have some sunscreen. I spent a good portion of my time walking around El Morro, the old fort in the national park, and the sun was beating down on me the entire time, and literally if I didn't put sunscreen on multiple times throughout that day, I would have been burnt really bad. I already got a little bit of a burn, but because I was putting on so much sunscreen, I managed to maintain the burn and it wasn't that bad. But had I not had sunscreen, my entire trip would have been ruined because I would have been burnt. So do not forget sunscreen. Number two, do not avoid the local food. So Puerto Rico has some amazing local food and you do not want to miss it when you're in San Juan. So the most popular dish is probably mofongo, which I had while I was there. This is some smashed plantains with a meat of your choice and size of your choice, and it is delicious. But don't limit yourself to just mofongo. San Juan has so many other amazing, delicious local food dishes to try, such as fruteras, pastales, and arroz con guandales. Plus so many other options that you do not want to miss while you're on your trip. Number three, do not forget to have a pina colada while in San Juan. So Puerto Rico is the birthplace of pina coladas, and this delicious drink can be had with or without alcohol. So if you as an adult want to get one with some rum in it, go ahead, get a pina colada adult beverage. Or if you want to get your kid a pina colada without any alcohol, you can do that too. But do not forget to get a pina colada while you're in Puerto Rico. Now real quick, if you're enjoying this video, I wanted to mention my free resource, the Ultimate Budget Travel Guide. I created this free resource so that way you would have access to a bunch of dream destinations as well as all the resources that you needed to plan your entire vacation, all at your fingertips. And this is the exact same free resource I used to plan my trip when I went to San Juan. And this is an ever-growing resource, so if you choose to pick it up, I will send an email out anytime I update it so that way you can download the updated version. And if you want to pick that up, you can do so by clicking the link in the description below. Now let's move on to the next don't of San Juan. So my number four don't of San Juan is do not wait till last minute to book a place to stay. So I kind of learned this the hard way. I actually booked my place to stay in advance, but I ended up getting a hostel trying to save some money, and then I arrived and I did not like my hostel. So I ended up getting a hotel, and that hotel room was great, except it ended up doubling in price the next day, and then I ended up having to find another hotel, and then I ended up staying in 3 different places in a 2 or 3 day time frame, and you just do not want to have that same mess happen to you. So make sure that you book a place to stay that you like, that you're happy with in advance. And that leads me to my next tip. Do not book the cheapest hostel in San Juan. I didn't get the cheapest hostel in San Juan, but I did get a cheap hostel in San Juan, trying to save money and hoping that I would have an amazing experience. You see, this was my very first stay in a hostel ever, so what I envisioned in my mind was staying somewhere where there were going to be some other travelers. I'd get to meet some new people, I'd get to have a unique experience. And what ultimately happened is I ended up staying somewhere where instead of it being a bunch of travelers who were just staying for the weekend, it appeared to be people who were just living there, and it was just a sketchy situation. I didn't really like the hostel at all. This hostel was called Hostel H1. I do not personally recommend it, and if I had to do it over again, I would have actually booked the nicest hostel in San Juan, which was called Mango Mansion. You see, Mango Mansion was actually in a nice part of town, and the reason I know this is because it was in the same part of town as the hotel I stayed in for my last couple nights, and it was near a 24/7 grocery store, and it was a little bit more expensive, but it definitely would have been cheaper than the hotel I got, and I believe it would have been a better experience overall. So my recommendation to you is do not try to get the cheapest hostel available. Tip number 6, do not wait till last minute to book a rental car. So if you wait till last minute to book a rental car, you may very well arrive without a car available for you to drive. Sometimes these rental car companies overbook and then you'll arrive and they won't have anything available for you, so do not wait till last minute to book a rental car. Tip number 7, do not expect the driving to be the same as in the mainland. So when driving in San Juan, you may very well find that the drivers there are kind of reckless and do not use turn signals pretty often, so it may not be the same kind of driving experience that you're used to back in the mainland. Road signs are also all in Spanish in San Juan, even though the symbols of the signs mean the exact same thing as they do in the mainland, so be aware of that. And I'm not saying that San Juan is unsafe to drive in, just expect a different driving experience than you would in the mainland. Number 8, do not be fooled by the gas prices. So I made this mistake when I was in San Juan. I saw the gas prices on the signs and I thought to myself, this is so much cheaper than the mainland. I am about to move to Puerto Rico. But it turns out that all of their gas prices are measured in liters instead of gallons. And after you do the conversion, it actually turns out to be roughly the same price in Puerto Rico as it is in the mainland. Also, in many cases, you have to go into the gas station to pay for your gas because many of the gas pumps do not have credit card slots. Just be prepared for that. Pro tip. Number 9, do not expect San Juan to be super cheap. San Juan is a big city with big city prices and has 11% sales tax. That doesn't mean that it's going to be super expensive, but these are not below average prices. However, if you go outside of San Juan and go explore the rest of Puerto Rico, you will find some lower prices than you will in San Juan. Number 10, do not worry about foreign currency as a US citizen. So because Puerto Rico is a US owned territory, they take US dollars. So you don't have to worry about having some foreign currency when you show up to Puerto Rico. Number 11, do not forget earplugs. So all 3 places that I ended up staying in San Juan all were places where there was some kind of noise. And fortunately, I have earplugs with me because I've been an audio engineer for years and always carry earplugs. But if I didn't carry earplugs, I probably wouldn't have gotten any sleep. Not only was the hostel obviously noisy because you stay with other people and other people in the room are making noise and whatnot, but the hotels that I stayed in had thin walls and I could hear stuff outside of my room. So unless you're staying somewhere that has thick walls and you don't have a lot of noise, do not forget earplugs in San Juan. I am a horrible light sleeper, so I wake up to everything, so I'm super happy that I had my earplugs. The next tip we got is do not pick bad walking shoes. One thing that I did a lot of when I was in San Juan was walking. Whether I was in the city, whether I was exploring the fort, whether I was in the rainforest, it did not matter. I was constantly walking. And if I had picked bad walking shoes, then this would have been a pretty rough experience because the last thing that you want is to get blisters on your feet and on top of that be sweating. It would just be a miserable experience. So be sure to pick shoes that you are comfortable walking in for long periods of time. Tip number 13, do not go to La Perla. So I had another pair of tourists tell me that I should not go to La Perla while I was in San Juan. And it's easy to think that you can because from a distance you see some really colorful buildings and you think to yourself that that's probably a cool place to go check out. But once you get up close, you will see that it looks a little bit sketchy. And I've heard other people who have traveled to San Juan say not to go to La Perla. So I'm just passing that tip on to everybody else. I didn't go there myself, but I did get close enough because right where the tourists walk, you will walk right by La Perla and you can see right down into it. I mean, it's literally right where all the tourist attractions are. So just be careful, don't go down there. I'm passing the tip on to you and don't be fooled by the colorful buildings. Tip number 14, do not worry about not knowing any Spanish. So because Puerto Rico is a US owned territory and San Juan is a popular tourist destination, many of the locals know both English and Spanish. However, it is helpful to know some Spanish because I came across quite a few locals who only spoke Spanish or spoke very little English, including my taxi driver. So just be aware of that, but you don't have to know Spanish when you come to San Juan. Tip number 15, do not feel restricted to just San Juan. So I spent most of my time in San Juan while I was here, but I did go outside of San Juan one time to go to the El Yunque rainforest, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I'm happy that I left San Juan and didn't just stay there and got to have this experience. And there are so many other things that this island has to offer besides just San Juan and El Yunque rainforest. And that's why I'm definitely going to be going back here at some point in my life to explore all the other hidden gems and amazing things that Puerto Rico has to offer. Tip number 16, do not expect it to be unsafe. So San Juan overall felt like a very safe place for me to travel to. However, just like I mentioned earlier with La Perla, there are some places that are sketchy And overall, you just gotta use your common sense like you would in any other big city, because there is a degree of crime just like there is in any other big city. But overall, I had a pretty safe experience. I didn't see too many homeless people or too many drunks walking around. Now, mind you, I didn't spend a lot of time down there late at night during the party and club scene when you're gonna see more of that kind of stuff in most big cities. But for the most part, my experience in San Juan was it felt really safe pretty much everywhere I went, at least in old San Juan. And I guess it was new San Juan that I went to, where it had all the stores and whatnot that wasn't by the El Morro park. But overall, San Juan felt like a very safe place, and I really didn't see too many sketchy things while I was there. Tip number 17, do not worry about phone service as a US citizen. So I'm very happy to report that when I went to San Juan, I had phone service, even though I was using a crappy provider like Straight Talk. I'm actually looking at switching providers, one that can give me great signal internationally, but Straight Talk, as crappy as it is, actually still worked very well in San Juan, and that's because it is a US-owned territory, so you will have phone service there. If you are from the United States, you do not have to worry about that when you travel to San Juan. Tip number 18, do not worry about a passport as a US citizen. So because Puerto Rico is a US-owned territory, you do not need a passport to travel there from the United States. So those are my don'ts of San Juan. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, leave me a comment, and share this with somebody who can gain some value from it. And real quick, before the video comes to an end, I wanted to mention one more time my free resource, the Ultimate Budget Travel Guide. I created this free resource so that way you would have access to a bunch of dream destinations, as well as all the resources that you need to plan your entire trip, all at your fingertips. And this is the exact same free resource that I use to plan my entire trip to San Juan. So if you want to pick that up, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of this video, and I will see you guys next week.